What's up, everybody? We are coming to you not live from the center of the outskirts of downtown Houston, Texas. I'm here with my good friend Daniel Smitherson. This is Movie Nonsense Weekly, where we bring you the most underqualified commentary on the week's hottest movie news. And like always, we are going to start off with the weekend box office. Let me just give you the rundown of the numbers really quick. Guardians of the Galaxy, number one in a crazy upset, 17 million. TMNT, number two, 16 million. If I Stay, 15 million. Let's Be Cops, 10 million. When the Game Stands Tall, 8.3 million. Solid numbers for that. Expendables 3, 6.4 million. The Giver, 6.4 million. Tied with The Giver, not too shabby. Sin City 2. Oh man. Yikes. In the biggest flop probably of the year, I would say. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is going to be the biggest flop of the year. Can you think of another movie that bombed this bad?
I'm wondering, Transcendence, but what did they do? I know it was a flop overall, but I don't know what its opening numbers were.
Oh, good.
I know
good
that
point.
was a big bomb.
Good point.
And then the other Hercules one, the
the
younger guy that did
Kellen
one.
Lutz, his Hercules.
His, I know that was a pretty big bomb, but definitely as far as expectation, this has to be one of, if not the biggest, because it's.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one got a lot of acclaim. Did well.
It had moderate success. It was more critical acclaim than anything else.
Yeah, and I mean, it did well relative to what they, as far as budget and everything, what they're expecting.
Yeah,
but I think the expectation was that this was going to dwarf the last one, and it was the
maybe
opposite. It was dwarfed by the last.
Maybe
one.
Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez were hoping it was going.
Well, I mean,
I don't think the industry projections were that good on it either.
There
wasn't a lot of buzz for the
closer it came out, but I mean, when they were making this film, they had to be like, oh, we got Jessica Alba back. She's a big star.
We got Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this. He's pretty hot. He's a pretty hot young actor.
He definitely is. And a lot of these...
Josh Brolin. He's got
Brolin,
all that Avengers buzz.
Eva Green in there.
Bruce Willis is back for a little bit. Eva Green has been in some big budget movies recently. But none of that helped at all.
People are like, oh, look, black and white, comic-y looking feel to it. Yeah, we're over that.
I mean, that was like super cool in 2005.
Yeah, visually it was very different. It was very new.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, since then you had 300, Watchmen. Zack Snyder really pushed it even farther than
and even
Robert Rodriguez
did. The comic book one we were talking about the other day. No.
It flopped.
No, that was terrible. No, something versus the world.
Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim versus the world. Okay,
that
was a little more traditional, but still edgy.
But it had a lot of those kind of comic booky elements to it and everything mixed with the live action.
Yeah, it was more of like a video game, I would say, than a comic book. But I see what you're saying, But even that one, most of that was on a real set and stuff.
Right.
This was like Sin City 1 was the first movie where like, hey, forget real sets.
Yeah,
we're going all green screen.
Yeah,
green screen cars. Everything. But
very overly stylized.
It didn't look that good, so I don't mind. I mean, I feel bad for Robert Rodriguez because he hasn't really had a hit in a while. And fun fact, when Robert Rodriguez made the first Sin City, he was so adamant about Frank Miller being credited as a director, even though he didn't actually do anything to the movie. He wanted him to be credited as a director because he said that he just basically adapted each panel on screen. And he actually lost his standing with the Directors Guild of America over it so that he could have Frank Miller credited as a director. So that's pretty crazy.
That's some loyalty, bro.
Yeah. But Guardians of the Galaxy in the fourth week. This is crazy. Number one.
Coming back.
I have never heard of this happening. I'm sure it's something similar has probably happened, but definitely not in a while.
I mean, like Frozen had it a couple times because it was number one for a long time, and there were I think a couple weeks where it dropped off, but then came back. But
I think it moved up. I don't know if it ever was number one.
Went back to number one.
But it did move up, which even that is great news for a movie. But
just word of mouth on that.
Yeah.
Lots of word of mouth.
Well, I think the competition
dropped off too.
Yeah.
And after the first weekend of the Turtles, and the word of mouth from both, and everybody that hadn't seen either, they're like, well, seems like the obvious choice. Let's go see.
Yeah, because TMNT was mixed, so that wasn't gonna have any staying power. It had more than I thought it was.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing I'm happy about, when the game stands tall, $8.3 million opening weekend. Its budget was $15 million, so it's definitely on track to.
It'll make money.
Yeah, move into profitability there. So great news for that. We both like the movie pretty well.
Sure, definitely.
So Let's Be Cops is in its second week, I believe. 10.8 million, almost 11 million. I believe they have already
made. Not bad for a comedy, which are always lower budget.
Yeah, so. 17 million was the budget on that. They've already made their money back. I actually watched that today.
Did you?
So I'll have my review of that coming up. Oh, by the way, if you want to download an audio-only version of this, there's a link in the description for that too.
Cleverly placed in the middle of the stream.
So that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to say on the box office this weekend?
No, just that, obviously this is a time of the year when the sort of summer blockbuster season kind of winds down, and we're not going to see every Friday night the big opening of the huge, $100 million movie, until we get into late fall, around Christmas time. But there's still a lot of movies out there, so seeing Guardians of the Galaxy have that staying power is great, but there's definitely plenty of other movies sprinkled out throughout the fall that we're looking forward to. So,
which we will talk about a little bit here. Just a quick, so now into the news section. Just a quick note, we got a few pictures of Jeremy Renner in his Hawkeye outfit, and apparently on some sets of Avengers 2. It looks pretty cool. We already had one picture from a few weeks ago. Looked good. It looked really cool, I thought. I thought he's got like a leather trench coat. I'll throw a picture up if you're watching this video. Pretty cool. And the interesting news was that he mentioned that might be in Captain America 3.
Right.
Which I thought would be great if it's something similar to the way Black Widow was worked into Captain America 2. That's what I'm excited about.
Kind of get his turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was hoping when you see these headlines, and if if you're like us, if you're movie fans, especially comic book movie fans, then anything that the studio can tease at that, and they know how we are. They see us little guppies just please give me something, and they just sprinkle a little here and there. And sometimes they drop a ball of lint and you grab it up and you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. But sometimes it's that tasty little treat and you're like, thank you so much for feeding me, and my existence can have meaning for another few days. But you see the headlines and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's what's happening. This is going to be the Hawkeye version of Cap 2, where he's teamed up with them, because he's a secondary character.
Like Black Widow.
Yeah, absolutely. Not necessarily one that you would put in his own standalone, even though Jeremy Renner is certainly strong enough, I believe, to carry his own film. And which I think he has, the one coming up.
Well, he was
Don't
already
Kill the
in.
Messenger.
Yeah. He had the Bourne Legacy.
Yeah, exactly, which they're greenlit another one in that he's definitely in. Matt Damon, we're not sure, but
first one was pretty good.
But I liked it. I mean, it's
a little generic.
It was one of those, it was always going to be cursed by being held up against the original Bourne series, which it wasn't exactly the same as that, but still kept with the basic formula of it. It still had that same feel, which a lot of us like myself like. But yeah, great actor, but the character of Hawkeye is not one of the top tier Avengers. Yeah. So for him to be in something other than the Avengers, it's going to be in a secondary role. Yeah. So in this one,
I think that's the perfect movie for him.
Sure, yeah.
Because he doesn't have any powers. Captain America doesn't have a whole lot of powers either, so they could really
superhuman strength, but no powers other than that. He's the greatest soldier of all time. He's the original super soldier.
He can withstand falls from any height.
Yeah.
As long as he lands on his shield.
Yes. And then he kind of groans when he gets up, but he's all right.
He's got super bone density.
Yes.
One of his, that's his
power.
If
he gets shot, he heals relatively quickly.
Yeah. So that was just a little tidbit. Out to the actual news. We got a slew of voice casting announcements for Warner Brothers' Jungle Book Origins movie. Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch, Christian Bale, and Kate Blanchett are all signed on to play different roles. Benedict Cumberbatch is probably the biggest. Well, Christian Bale is probably the biggest name. Benedict Cumberbatch is probably
the most distinct voice.
Yeah. I mean, he's Smaug. Is he?
Yeah.
Is he? He's not any other. Yeah, that's his only other voice acting role.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So Warner Brothers is pulling from their previous Warner Brothers movies, and Disney is pulling from their previous Disney movies.
Yeah. Well, they have a working relationship. They like what they've seen so far. Let's bring you back.
Yeah, I mean Disney's is has Scarlett Johansson, Jon Favreau's directing that movie, and they got a bunch of other actors from their Disney movies. But anyway, I thought it'd be fun. How many twin movies can you name off the top of your head?
Well, I can think of some that have come out. There's White House Down and
that's one.
Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
There are the 2 Hercules movies.
Oh, I told you that's the most recent one.
This
the most
year.
Recent one. Yeah.
There have been. Oh man, he asked me this earlier, and I had a couple more.
What was it? Who was in it?
Oh golly!
Well, I'll tell you the one that I thought of off the top of my head that you haven't mentioned was The Prestige and The Illusionist.
Yes.
Not exactly twin movie. They were both about magicians in the 1800s.
It was a very similar feel.
Even though they were 2 totally different movies, similar feel. So I looked some of these up, and there is a lot. There's way more than you think. Mirror, Mirror, Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah.
Mall Cop and Observe and Report. Dante's Peak and Volcano. That's a little older one.
Yeah.
Both volcano disaster movies. Gordy and Babe, both about talking pigs. The Truman Show and Ed TV. Ed TV, I had heard of. I didn't know it came out so close to the Truman Show, though. But they were both about reality TV shows.
Armageddon and Deep Impact. That was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ants in a Bug's Life. More recently, No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits.
Yeah.
Both
terrible.
Both pretty bad movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, Disney's Jungle Book version is coming out on 10/9/2015, and
That's
Warner Brothers
October 9th for those of you with calendars.
And Warner Brothers is coming out October 21st, 2016. So almost, I mean,
A good
solid year apart. Yeah.
Which I think is better because.
Yeah, at least they're not coming out in the same calendar year.
Yeah, I mean, you get those 2 close together. I think that was part of the reason why White House Down suffered the way it did.
Definitely.
Even though some people liked it more than Olympus Has Fallen. I preferred Olympus Has Fallen, but I think it hurt it because it was too fresh. People were like,
I've just seen this movie. Yeah.
So you give it a year, and then it's more like, oh, okay, different take. I'll see this.
Yeah, and it's going to be so interesting to compare these 2 films because they will inevitably.
I've seen my animal filled in the last 8 months or whatever. Yeah. And plus, personally, I'm actually looking forward to it because the last live action version of the Jungle Book that I'm aware of, the last one I've seen, was from the mid '90s, which was okay.
Was it did they use real animals?
Yeah, it was a live action. It was I can't think of the guy's name. Princess Bride, the guy from Princess Bride. He was in it as one of the main guys.
Oh, was he the bad guy?
Yeah,
the one that. Oh,
yeah.
Are you thinking of the one where they wanted to get to that city of gold?
Yeah,
and the Indian guy. Oh, was that an adaptation of the Jungle Book?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he was like an old guy in that movie, though.
Yeah, it was kind of a continuation of the story, so to speak.
Oh, okay. I've seen that movie. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably the Jungle Book.
Yeah. I when I was a kid, I watched a direct-to-video version of it with a little kid.
Nice.
That was cool.
VHS.
But anyway, I can't wait to compare those 2 movies. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it should be. And plus, I'm sorry, how awesome is it that they got the guy who played Khan to play Shere Khan?
That's pretty cool.
That's just fantastic.
Although, if you're
needs to say, my name is Shere Khan.
That would be awesome. But Idris Elba, I think, is also awesome. He's playing.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah, he's playing Shere Khan in the Disney version because he was in Thor.
Yeah, and before I'd heard of the Cumberbatch announcement, I heard that one, and I'm like, oh, he's a great fit for that.
I know, it's perfect.
He really is.
Perfect.
Fantastic voice.
Number 2 piece of news. There's if you liked the Darren Aronofsky's take on Noah, then you may or may not like this next piece of news. I don't know. There's an apparently animated movie coming out by a company called Unified Pictures. It's a fully animated movie called Noah's Ark, and it's about an aardvark who is trying to get to the Ark before the flood happens, and he meets friends along the way that help him or helping each other out get there, and
shenanigans ensue.
It's a comedy. They're calling it a comedy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's going to be like a family comedy, and it's directed by John Stevenson. You might know him from the Kung Fu Panda series, which I actually really liked those Kung Fu Panda movies. I thought they were great.
Skadoosh.
Yeah, I thought they had good messages, good family messages, believe in yourself. And actually, it seems like that's probably going to be a theme in this movie too. Believing in yourself or some kind of a self-empowerment type of a deal.
So you're saying it won't be about one of the members on the Ark trying to kill his children? It won't be about that? A little lighter?
I'm sure they'll fit that in there in some subtle way.
Key part of the story.
Yeah, I'm sure Darren Aronofsky is going to produce or write it or something like that. So,
I actually, when you told me about this, the first thing that popped in my mind was Ice Age. It was kind of like their exodus of this dying world, and okay, we got to survive to move on, and so that kind of journey. I'm guessing it's going to have that kind of feel. Obviously, we'll have to wait till we see a trailer. But yeah, it definitely looks cool. And
sounds interesting. I think it sounds great
for those of us who like the actual Noah's Ark story and felt a little let down with the reinterpretation of it. I think this will be a great counterbalance to that, and obviously more family friendly.
And just an editorial note for all you producers and directors out there: when you're adapting a Bible story, if you're doing a scene that's in the Bible, just do that exactly the way it happens. Okay, and whatever spin or twist you want to put on it, do that in the scenes that you have to make to fill in the extra gaps, okay? You get what I'm saying? Because when I go see a Bible story that I'm familiar with, I want to see the story that I know, but on the big screen. You know what I mean?
Well, and the problem is
it's just a side editorial note that I'm making here.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because the problem
I don't want to see it's Noah in name, but everything else is like totally
right.
You've got an ark in there, but everything else is totally.
Well, they're treating the Bible as any other work, and they're saying, okay, well, we're going to take creative license with it. If you're doing Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and you're doing Frankenweenie, that's fine, because Frankenstein is just a book. The Bible, whether you're Christian or not, you need to understand, is something that a vast population of the world considered the written word of God. There is moral content that has to be maintained.
Actually happening.
Yeah. If you take creative license, like the rock monsters, I didn't actually mind that simply because he tried to explain it as is, okay, these are trapped angels and this and that, and okay, you're making it a little creative. It looked ridiculous, I thought, but okay, whatever, claymation's back and all that.
It's a thing.
But the thing is, he changed the moral character of the key persons in the story to the point where he changed the message that it was about, and all you're left with were the names and the fact that there was a boat and a flood.
And it's like, I guess there's an audience for that, but I think most people that went to see it, I think they wanted to just see the story that they know. You know what I'm saying?
Which is frustrating, because everybody said, even people that didn't like it, visually it was impressive.
Yeah.
It was well done visually. He's always good at that. But it's just the content, it fell flat, and that's why I think it did.
All right, a little rabbit trail there. Let's get back on track. Number 3, Mark Wahlberg is in talks to join a little picture called Deepwater Horizon. And this is sort of in the vein of a Captain Phillips type of a deal, where it's going to chronicle the 48 hours leading up to the BP oil spill of, was that 2010?
I think it was 10. Yeah,
2010. Yeah, so pretty recent. I guess we're going to start seeing a trend of movie versions of historical quotation mark events.
Well, and I think
of recent, like very recent news.
There's always been historical event based films. The difference, I think, now is
the time difference.
With social media and everything.
These stories blow up faster.
They blow up faster, and more people are aware of them. But also, they get passed up and on to the next thing faster. So even though it was only 4 years ago, by the time this film hits the screen, it's going to feel like, man, that was forever ago. Oh, yeah, you remember back when that happened?
Oh, yeah.
Even though it wasn't actually that long ago.
Yeah.
So I think there's part of that. And, it's one of those things that even though it affected the Gulf Coast and was relatively recent, and relatively localized, it was something that the world knew about.
Yeah.
And obviously economically had a big impact.
It was global news for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Europe and the UK, you know, BP is a global company, you know, so there's, I think, an audience for something like this.
Yeah. Well, what I think they're able to capitalize on by doing these newer news stories, these big events, is that, you know, in the age of social media, more people are voicing their opinions about these events.
Sure.
And so whenever you put out a movie like this, they'll be like, oh yeah, I had feelings about that, or whatever, you know, or oh yeah, I was angry about that.
Yeah. This was my opinion. Look at my tweet.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, I tweeted about this when it came out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they kind of feel more involved. So
kind of invested in what's going on.
Yeah, in some way that doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah.
But still, you know, I think it might help the movies and stories like this. You know
it could, but lest we forget the Fifth Estate. Benedict Cumberbatch, great actor.
Yeah.
The Julian Assange thing, big story, international news, fell very flat.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit more of a. I don't know if that had the mainstream like social media presence that these there's a little bit easier stories to get behind. Like, oh, obviously, millions of gallons of oil spilling into an ocean is bad. You know what I mean? So anybody can get behind that and say like, oh, BP, you suck, you know, and stuff like that. You know, with Julian Assange, it's sort of it's a more complex issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's harder for people to really find their voice on something like that. So
I mean, I hope this one does better, but I'm just thinking, you know, because when that whole thing was getting talked about with the whole WikiLeaks issue, talking about Twitter, everybody had an opinion on that too. You know,
really? I'm not on Twitter that much, so I don't
know. But the other thing is, who's going to play Kevin Costner in this movie? Because lest we forget, Kevin Costner was involved in the BP oil spill because there was a big court case because he invented. This is a true story. He invented a type of device that was specifically designed to, is like this robotic little device that would like go through the water and filter out the oil and everything.
Oh, cool.
And he had like either sold these devices or sold the design or whatever to a company, and then he wasn't getting paid for it and everything. It was a big like side story on that, and I seriously doubt he'll be
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, play himself. But no, that obviously wouldn't be in this film because this is after the spill, and the understanding is the movie's about leading up to the exit.
Yeah, we should get him on the show and get his side of the story on that.
Have your people call us people.
Yeah, let's get him on the show. All right, I just hope they don't make it too political. I hope it's just like, hey, this person did this person did that.
Yeah.
As far as we know. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this person did that, this person did this.
They might throw a little bit of whistleblower type feel in there. Like, there's going to be those who said, hey,
Mark
guys,
Wahlberg
we
knew
need
it was
to
wrong.
stop.
Yeah, he knew it was wrong the whole time.
We're headed for disaster.
Nobody
Why don't
would
we
listen
stop
to him.
this?
Yeah.
So there'll be some drama.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Mark Wahlberg's in it, and he's a fantastic dramatic actor. So.
Yeah. Okay, next order of business. Bradley Cooper. This is pretty cool. Bradley Cooper is in talks to join a Mack Bolan movie. Mack Bolan is a novel book character from the 70s, 60s, 70s, maybe 80s a little bit too. Apparently he is the character that inspired the comic book character, the Punisher.
Yeah.
So he's in that vein, sort of like a Justice style Avenger, like judge, jury, executioner type of a guy.
But also it has a little bit of comedy in there too, isn't there? And
I believe he's like a light.
Too.
He's a more light. Yeah. He's like a lighthearted Punisher character. So he is in talks to do that. The interesting part about the story is that the director attached is Todd Phillips, which you might know from such movies as The Hangover Part 2, The Hangover Part 1, Due Date with Robert Downey Jr. And
so you're saying they're going to take this down the serious road?
Dead more Punisher than Mack Bolan. But odd choice to direct an action movie. Unless I guess it's going to be more comedy than action.
Yeah, I mean if they take him down that road, I mean I think it'd be interesting. I mean I like
see it.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I like
think
Bradley Cooper.
I think he's a strong actor.
He knows how to pick his projects nowadays.
He does, yeah. I mean, he's getting those
He's
nominations
getting those
and
Oscars,
such.
yeah.
But yeah, just like with the other one we were talking about, we're gonna have to wait till we see a trailer to really get a feel for the tone of the film. But I have a feeling they're looking at this as a potential franchise to keep him in, instead of just a one shot. I mean, he's kind of a big name to be thrown away on something. If you're taking a property that's a series of books, did fairly well in his time. It's a little bit before my time, but if you're talking about a series of books and you're casting a big name actor in it who's young enough to certainly carry the role for several years,
we're looking at a franchise.
Yeah, that would have to be their hope. So
which would be
we'll
cool.
have to see
Which
how
would
it
be
does.
cool. We don't really have. We pretty much got Ethan Hunt. Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible series.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the only ongoing big action franchise that I can think of.
Yeah, because as far as we know, Matt Damon's done with his. He may be coming back, but even if
he does, it'd be a small thing.
Yeah, when it won't be for another 3 or 4. It's maybe one more.
It's not like they're going to team up like I want them to.
Yeah. Well, the Expendables. No.
What?
Not so much.
But I am excited. Hopefully, what I'm hoping for is because Bradley Cooper he's going to be in American Sniper.
Yes.
Which we are both super psyched about.
Definitely.
On this channel, for sure.
Saw a shot the other day on Facebook that was posted up. Him and Clint Eastwood. And I was telling Josiah, with him in the beard, he's obviously put on some weight, some muscle and everything. He's getting the sun from being out on set, on location, everything.
He looks so close to the guy.
So much like Chris Kyle. I mean, you pull up some of just Google Chris Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
With him with the man beard and the smile and everything, and then you put that side by side shot with Bradley Cooper on set with the Eastwood, and you're just like. He looks so much like him.
So much like him. And Clint Eastwood is so perfect for this type of a project, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
So perfect. Oh, I can't wait.
He's going to keep it true to...
Oh, yeah.
Very accurate militarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, super excited about that. That's coming out later this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it comes out on Christmas, actually.
Oh,
I think
right.
that's one of the Christmas releases.
So maybe some Oscar buzz. I mean, Bradley Cooper's got the acting chops. Clint Eastwood, definitely, he's had his fair share of nominations.
Yeah.
And a win or two in his bag. $1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
But, he's got, this is going to be a great combo. I cannot wait to see that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully, what I'm hoping is Bradley Cooper can with
kind of parlay him into
American Sniper, Mack Bolan, we might have an actual action star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we don't really...
Well, he's already had his first fantastic action role as
Limitless?
Rocket Raccoon. The guy knows how to handle a machine gun.
The first voice acting star.
Yes.
So that's going to be cool. Next order of business. Papers are not in order.
Page 2 here.
Oh, this is... now on to the comedy section of our news.
Oh my gosh.
The
one I'm so looking forward to.
Johnny Depp, the man himself, and, get this, his biological opposite, Kevin Smith,
yes.
The two extremes of the human condition, are teaming up for a movie called Yoga Hosers to star, I think it's Hosers. Is that pronounced?
I think that's how. I'm not Canadian.
The movie is starring their daughters, Johnny Depp's daughter and Kevin Smith's daughter.
Yes.
Kevin Smith will be directing. Johnny Depp will be in the movie. Now, if you think this sounds like a bad idea, wait till you hear what this movie is about. It is about two underclassmen in high school get invited to a 12th grade senior party.
Ooh.
Grade 12 party. They don't call them seniors in Canada, I guess. But their plans are stifled when an ancient evil rises from beneath the crust of Canada.
Because that happens.
And threatens their attendance to this party. So they have to enlist
of course.
The help of a manhunter who is none other than Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't spell Oscar...
Playing one of his normal roles, very grounded.
Yeah, basically Johnny Depp is who he's playing in this movie.
Let's not leave out an important detail of this. What is Kevin Smith's daughter's name?
Harley Q. Smith.
And the Q stands for...
Quinn.
Okay, Harley Quinn, the psychotic clown comic book character from the Batman franchise. That's what he named his daughter. Real life, apparently he was ticked off the day to chose the name and decided to curse his daughter with that name.
Yes, and if you're thinking this is nepotism, don't worry, because
It's nepotism.
Kevin Smith's daughter hasn't, from what I've seen on her IMDb page, she hasn't acted in any other movies before. So that just goes to show you how much potential they see in her.
Is it just the Smith name? Because Will does this as well. Is it something about being named Smith? You got to get your kids involved.
Well, I've never even seen Johnny Depp's daughter, so I don't know what
I didn't even know he had a daughter.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know Kevin Smith had a daughter until today. So that just goes to show you the pedigree that they're going for here. I don't know, man. Kevin Smith, he sort of fell off. I was never like a humongous fan of his directing, but he's directed some okay stuff. And this, but recently, he sort of fell off the wagon. I mean, Cop Out.
Yeah, that was, no.
And then Red State was like, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe when we see Tusk, we'll be like, Kevin Smith, he's got it. This man has got it.
All the Clerks fans are just rooting for this guy.
Yeah. Tusk looks, it actually doesn't look that funny. It does look kind of scary.
Looks super creepy.
Yeah, it looks very creepy. He's got the creep factor going for him, so he'll definitely pull out that crowd.
That's just weird from the way that it came about. This wasn't like a big, like someone wrote a book and he decided to adapt. No, this was...
Well, it's based on a true story.
Someone basically called in, like, to his radio or podcast or whatever.
No, they were talking... He had a guest. They were talking about, like, weird news that they had found or something.
Yeah, but they decided to snowball it, and they kind of did like a crowdsourcing, hey, let's think of a different way this could go, and people called in and started adding stuff, and it kind of built from there. Yeah, and then so many people heard it, they were like, dude, we should totally make this into a movie. And then Kevin Smith decided...
He said he's retired
let's
like
do
twice.
It. Yeah.
So he's coming out of his second retirement. So you know it's going to be good. When
phenomenal works like this come on, land in your lap, you got to do it. I mean, there's no other choice for a creative genius like him than succumb to the story.
And who knows, Tusk might surprise us. Who knows?
It might make like tens of dollars. I mean, you don't know.
And apparently, most of the cast from Tusk is going to be. Somehow involved. Going to be in this movie somewhere.
This probably got like a 2-for deal
in yoga hosers. So
the name is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
What does it have to do with yoga at all?
They're apparently the two leads are yoga nuts.
What does that have to do with the high school story?
How they can stretch really good?
Do they do like yoga positions to like summon some sort of spirit to fight it? I don't.
I wouldn't put it past this movie. I would not put them using yoga to defeat the evil.
So you're saying, think up a ridiculous idea. It could be in there.
Yeah. Whatever you can think of, it's got potential.
Saving up my dollars now.
All right, now on to the trailers. We've got some pretty interesting trailers. I think. I don't know. We have sort of.
He thinks they're interesting.
The trailer that I'm really excited about is this trailer called Automata. With none other than Antonio Banderas. And he actually, I think he looks really good in this trailer. I haven't seen him in a role like this serious in a while. We just saw him in Expendables, and he was kind of like, yeah. I wasn't really feeling his...
He was very quirky.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it there. But this looks pretty good. He's playing kind of a normal guy. But anyway, go check out this trailer called Automata. It's a futuristic type sci-fi movie. They pretty much have the sort of the premise of iRobot and the robots from Elysium and Antonio Banderas as Matt Damon.
Yeah,
and but it looks interesting. I think it looks interesting. It looks pretty cool. I like this sci-fi aspect. I like the world building that they were doing in there. The look of the robots looks really good. The premise sounds really good. It's about these robots that sort of are gaining sentience, and they kind of have like a resistance. Also sort of like a little bit of Blade Runner in there.
Yeah,
type of a deal, which very intriguing to me. I like, and Antonio Banderas. I'm liking his acting in this movie. I know you have sort of mixed feelings.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Melanie Griffith, his wife, is in the film too, And anytime husbands and wives or sons and daughters and that, you know, family members get put into the film together, to me that's a bit of a red flag.
Well, she's just acting in it, right?
She is.
Okay. She's not like creatively involved.
No. Yes, she's an actress, so she's acting in the movie as an actress, as herself as an actress.
Well, I mean, she's not like producing or writing or directing.
Right. No, I mean she's another character in the film,
Yeah.
and I just have to think, okay, of all the female actors out there, what are the chances that she was the best fit for this role versus she's married to the main star, therefore she got the part. So that to me is a little bit of a red flag. She may be great, you know, don't get me wrong, she may be phenomenal in the film, but that's kind of a story. The other thing is in the trailer, and this might be just an early trailer and they may refine some of the CG and everything, but I wasn't super impressed with the visuals in it. Some of it looked a little bit Sci-Fi Channel in some of the special effects.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So, you know, we don't know how low budget this is going to be.
It does look like it's a huge budget.
Right.
But it looks like they're kind of going for that gritty sort of old world
post-apocalyptic kind of.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you think about like in Elysium, how like the robots were like they were like worn out and they had like chip paint everywhere.
Right. Yeah. It's not like stylized.
They weren't like the super clean,
pristine,
like Stormtrooper, all white type of a look to them, or even iRobot. They were all like real clean looking.
How do those Stormtroopers keep their armor so clean?
Well, there's not a lot of dust and dirt in space, so
yeah, that plays good enough.
But you know what I'm saying? They're going for like this more gritty, like down to earth robot feel, like where robots are like used in everyday life and they get scuffed up and they get. You know, they get broken and stuff.
more realistic. And I like Antonio Banderas. I think he's a good actor, but he's also had a filmography that includes some cheesy kids films and some lower budget films. And
you don't like Spy Kids?
I'm just hoping this isn't one of them. It may blow me away. Maybe it could be a sleeper like Edge of Tomorrow or something like that.
Oh, I hope so.
I gotta be honest. I watched the trailer. It didn't get me excited. Put it that way.
It's not like it didn't blow me away or anything, but I am excited. I'm interested. My interest is piqued, and I want to see it. And I do like Antonio Banderas. He's one of the he's pretty much one of the biggest names right now in the world of Latino actors in Hollywood. So
yeah, I mean, well, he's been around for so long, you know.
Right.
Kicked out a ton of films.
Yeah, he's actually in a lot of like direct-to-DVD movies. Actually, he's done several of those in recent years. But he looks
good
in
those
this.
Bills, you know.
Yeah, he looks pretty good for his age though in this movie. So I'm hoping
he's in shape.
He could be in several more movies before he's done acting. So
yeah,
I'm hoping that's good.
Or at least done acting action.
Yeah. Next up, Nightcrawler. The Nightcrawler trailer. We got a new Nightcrawler trailer, and it looks really, really good. Produced by Michael Clayton. First-time director Dan Gilroy. He's written a lot of stuff. He worked on Superman Lives, that script from the 90s. There's a documentary coming out about that. I cannot wait to see it. Go look that up. It's called The Death of Superman Lives. Watch that trailer.
What happened?
Yeah, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened.
Yeah.
The longest name for a movie ever. It's a documentary about this movie.
So you can get away with that,
yeah, it's about this movie that didn't happen. Anyway, this looks interesting. It was a little more of a traditional trailer than the other one. It was kind of a little bit more edgier, more experimental, but still, I think this movie, for me, what's most interesting, the story looks interesting, but Jake Gyllenhaal's acting, I just like him as an actor.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're giving him he's got a lot to do, a lot of acting range to stretch out in this movie, stretch his acting ability.
How did you like this one compared to the first trailer?
I liked it about the same. Like I said, it was they didn't show any. I don't think they showed that much more than just a few like side shots.
See, I actually had the opposite reaction because I really liked the first trailer.
Yeah, me too.
It really accentuated the creepiness of his character, and made you understand the name Nightcrawler. Nothing to do with the X-Men. Bit of a letdown there, but it definitely it definitely lets you know this guy is, kind of a villain in the night. This guy is eerie. He's going to get under your skin, maybe get a bit nefarious, and some of the things he does.
Nefarious.
But, SAT word. But this film, this trailer, if I hadn't seen the first trailer and I just watched this, I would say I'm interested to see that film.
But you wouldn't be excited about it.
But having seen the first trailer and then seeing a slight shift in tone with this one, this felt more, like you're saying, more like a traditional trailer.
Yeah, it was more tame.
And because of part of its traditional, layout in what they showed you in this trailer, I felt it showed me a little bit too much of the plot. And the first one was more of a tease. Yeah. So I kind of wish I hadn't seen this one, and I liked the feel of the first one. It certainly hasn't put me off from seeing the movie, but in this one, I felt like I get to see a little bit more of the progression of what leads to his, kind of downward spiral, and where he falls as far as good guy, bad guy spectrum in the film. Okay. And it definitely looks like a film, that's worth seeing. Definitely the acting, the kind of subtle, the what he does with his eyes, really caught me. He has that kind of manic stare about him.
Yeah, he looks like he lost weight for this movie.
He definitely looks like he lost weight. I mean, a lot of that can be done with makeup, but he definitely, you could tell he lost weight.
Yeah, he lost at least a little bit of weight. Someone pointed out to me, or actually I heard somebody else point this out, that like a lot of times whenever people are going in for these real edgy roles and they lose a lot of weight, they often get Oscar buzz and stuff for it and stuff. And they were saying that it might be because whenever you get underweight, your eyes get sunken in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know
Yeah.
And like you emote through your eyes a lot. So if you're like underweight, then you can better emote better.
Emote better. Yeah.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? I don't know.
I
don't know. That might be just like a subtle.
That's a theory.
It's
It's
just
definitely
subtle.
a theory.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know that there's
I mean, Christian Bale did it.
there's something about
Matthew McConaughey.
when look at to the opposite effect. Look at what we were just talking about Tom Hanks did in
Captain Phillips.
Castaway. He gained a bunch of weight for it and then lost it all. And I think there's something that people recognize, even if you don't understand the craft of acting and what they go through, and how some are more dedicated than others, and all this kind of stuff. There's something that everyone can relate to say, wow, that guy starved himself.
Yeah.
Because everyone said, oh, okay, I'm trying to lose 10 pounds, and it takes you like 9 months, and then you've gained 12, and all this kind of stuff. And everybody understands that. But then you've got a guy who, in 4 months' time, has lost 60 pounds, and he looks anorexic, and you're like, okay,
it's a really visible
obviously
sign
dedicated to it. Yeah. So there's something I think that we attach to that. That is more than, he expressed himself in this word loudly well, or whatever. That's hard to subjectively say, I understand this is good acting. Everyone can say, that guy lost a ton of weight. That's some dedication.
Yeah.
So I think people appreciate that. But
I'm very interested to see this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we both are. So that looks good. Just two quick ones. We won't talk much about these. But there's a trailer dropped this week called The Young Ones. It's got Nick Holt, Elle Fanning, Michael Shannon, a few others. It looks like it's a young adult type movie, post-apocalyptic future. It looks so derivative of a lot of stuff we've seen.
Has some kind of weird shots. It looks like they're getting some liberties with the artistry on this one.
Yeah.
So some of the background shots, I'm like, wait, is that? What was that I just saw?
Yeah. It's like in the desert. You check out the trailer. I'm pretty kind of lukewarm on it. Yay or nay?
I'm extremely lukewarm on this one.
Okay. And then there's this the other trailer that was kind of big this week. White Bird in a Blizzard. Eva Green, Shailene Woodley, Christopher Maloney, Thomas Jane, all in it. It's about Shailene Woodley. She loses her coming of age. She's like getting older. She's becoming an adult. She loses her mom. They probably got some sort of a weird relationship or something. They're looking for her mom. Thomas Jane's a detective. It looks a little too artsy for my taste.
They put a little film noir in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Eva Green's fantastic. I mean, we're seeing her in more and more stuff. She's a terrific actress.
Yeah. It's nice to see her not playing like a straight up villain.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much the okay. Let's introspectively analyze
the human condition.
Yeah, the breakdown of a family and the drama that's involved and everything, and then add some interesting costume and set design to kind of accentuate that.
It was probably going for some Oscar buzz too.
The trailer was, I would say, was interesting.
Yeah.
Based on what I see, though, I think the trailer will be more entertaining than the actual film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So.
Not a movie that I want to rush out and see right away. Or
Kick that
like
door
that.
down.
Yeah.
Let me in.
So that's all the news we have. Really quick though, I'm going off script here. Let's talk about just for a minute or two. Best movies of the year so far.
Ooh,
just
good
real quick.
Question.
Real quick. We're running low on time, but
I can give you a top 5 right now. That's no problem.
Okay. Go ahead.
For me personally, my number 1 is still Captain America 2: Winter Soldier. The story on that, just so blew away my expectations set from the previous one. It was such a tremendous leap forward.
Action-packed.
And I think up to that point, one of the best comic book movies we've seen from any studio. So that would be my number 1. Number 2, I'm going to throw it up to X-Men Days of Future Past. Another one that is clearly the best of the franchise so far, and makes me so excited to see the next one, The Age of Apocalypse.
True.
And let's face it, if you're having sequels, that's what you need to do. You need to build an audience for the next installment.
Yeah.
Third, I'm going to go Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'll be honest, it was tight between the 2 and 3 there, because we talked about this before.
Yeah.
But Guardians is just, it's so much fun to watch. It is a very enjoyable film. If you haven't seen it yet, go out. Don't wait for the DVD. Go see this in theaters. It's phenomenal.
Fun. It's fun. It's just fun.
Fourth, I'm going to give to Edge of Tomorrow.
Man.
Because, and we talked about this before, the editing in that and the way that they told the story and paced the film, it's just... There are no unengaging parts of the film. I mean, the whole thing is a fun ride. And then fifth, Planet of the Apes.
I totally forgot about that.
You forgot it. How could you forget?
It's so good.
Another one. Best of the franchise.
Oh my gosh.
I'm including the Mark Wahlberg one, even though that's not in this universe. Definitely better than that one.
Could be.
We
don't know.
Apes 18, you could connect with that storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's such a phenomenal film. The special effects, the visuals, Gary Oldman, I mean, the whole cast was phenomenal. And another one that's making me really anxious to see the next installment and where the story goes from here.
Man, great. I have the same top 5,
okay,
just in a different order.
Okay.
I'm going Captain America 2 as my number 1. Also,
really? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then, actually, my number 2, Edge of Tomorrow.
Really? Second?
It was just so original.
It was.
And it really blew me away.
Not what the trailers made it look like.
No, I like those trailers.
I did too. But it was definitely a different feel from what the trailers portrayed.
It didn't make me think it was going to be as good as it was, though.
Yeah.
Number 3, Planet of the Apes.
now that I remind you of it, that's gonna be 3.
Well, it was just so edgy with what they did, Like,
it was, yeah.
Having like almost your entire all your lead characters like motion capture.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, that was so good. And then it was a close third between Days of Future Past and that one. But then at number 5 is Guardians of the Galaxy for sure.
Wait, what was your 4th?
Days of Future Past.
Fourth is okay.
Yeah, so it was a really close call between those two. Yeah. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, definitely good.
That's gonna be 5 for you.
Yeah.
Wow, man, I thought you would for sure have that higher. You're the Marvel guy.
What, Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I thought that would be at least.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was. As. It didn't like break any molds or redefine the genre in any way.
But it was such a bold choice for them.
It was for them, but it was still fairly tame of a movie. and it still fell right in line with. It had the same feel as all their other movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
it had that Kevin
fun.
Feige fingerprint on it.
Yeah, as fun as it was. I mean, it was great, but
Great soundtrack, though.
I mean, it's not like
Great soundtrack.
In like Edge of Tomorrow. That is like totally. That was a real twist on an action movie.
It should be noted, highest critic reviewed sci-fi of the past decade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Guardians of the Galaxy? Or?
No. Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow was doing phenomenal. Same. I think the same goes for the audience review, but I know definitely it was the highest critic reviewed one. That's another one. It should be coming out on DVD relatively soon.
Yeah, that's why I put it above Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And then also I put Planet of the Apes goes above Guardians of the Galaxy too because they really stepped out on that movie.
Yeah, you're right about
totally crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Because we've had movies with CGI characters, but like Transformers. Okay, the Transformers are the title characters of the film, but they're not actually the main characters in the film.
Yeah, human characters.
In this one, you've got CG apes, which honestly, 10 minutes into the film, you forget they're CG.
Golly,
you really do,
especially Maurice.
Fantastic. Yes.
The orangutan?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you look too real.
Oh yeah. I'm like, how are they training these apes?
Yeah. How do they get them to open up that book?
But they are the principal characters in the film, and the human characters are secondary. You know?
So the movies that kind of push the envelope in that way, I sort of rate higher than
I respect that.
Movie like Guardians of the Galaxy, which was, great. But, still,
very entertaining, but it wasn't like groundbreaking.
It was a play on the existing sort of genre set pieces.
Even with Benicio del Toro and
his overacting.
Yes, he was so over the top.
He looks like he's right off the set of like a Lady Gaga music video.
Yeah, Lady Gaga meets steampunk. Yeah.
Okay, biggest surprise of the summer so far.
Surprise?
Yeah, biggest surprise.
Well, it'd have to be Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay. I mean, I would go Spider-Man 2. That's
on the negative side.
That'd be surprising big time.
You're right.
That movie looks so good.
Yeah, that'd be a toss-up between. Yeah, that one was just just heartbreakingly disappointing.
Yeah, but it looked so good in the trailers.
And not only that, having the opposite effect of the ones I was mentioning earlier, it makes me worried for the sequels of following. Because I'm like, okay, you're talking about Sinister Six and all these other conglomeration movies, and seeing how you did this one. Man, I'm really concerned with how they're going to organize all that. As far
biggest
as the story.
letdown of the summer?
I would say that is my biggest letdown. Was that one?
Transcendence.
Was that a summer film? Or was that in the spring? When did that come out?
Came out after Captain America 2, so...
Oh, yeah, I guess that was the official start. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for that.
I was
hoping that would be good.
That was bumdinger. No buenos.
All right, well, that'll do it for us this week. Daniel, where can people find you? Nowhere online? Okay, good.
You can find me what? Should I are you trying to... I don't know. I don't want random people.
Do you have a Twitter, Facebook, website?
You can find me on Twitter at Daniel Smith AP2 or look me up on Facebook, Daniel Smith. I'm one of the 68 million of those. Good luck finding me.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Foursquare, Snapchat, Tinder, Grindr, and Christian Mingle. Just at Josiah Sandu.
If you find him on Grindr, let us know that you do, because we want to know that.
That'll do it for us this week. Thanks for watching, everybody, and stay tuned for more great content, and we will see you next time.